Welcome to the Dr. Nikki Starr Show, a podcast to support you in your spiritual awakening and personal development. As a spiritual teacher, healer, and intuitive coach, my intention is to empower you to live your ultimate potential and your ultimate life. As a former medical doctor and mystic, my role is to bridge the gap between science and spirituality to support you in understanding more of your multidimensional aspects. I share on a diverse range of topics, and it's all to support your greatest becoming. My mission is to continue reaching millions of people for the healing and awakening of humankind for the creation of the new earth. Thank you for being here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dr. Nikki Starr Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nikki Starr, and today we are continuing in this season of love and relationships, and we are talking about the pillars of a powerful relationship. And in my time, I haven't always met so many powerful couples that I'm just like, wow, like they're amazing. And when I have, I've observed certain qualities. And of course, I consider the relationship I have with my beloved to be one of these powerful relationships because we have transcended so much. And wherever we go, we get a ton of attention. Wherever we go, we are inspiring others. Single people ask us for relationship. Couples ask us as well. And my clients have for as long as I've been doing coaching work, I've been working with couples. And the work we've done that has taken them from where they were to where they become, to be so potent and powerful, to be those lovers united, to be in that divine union, to be that rock, that place of co-creation that is so beautiful, but also passionate and juicy. This is what we're talking about with a power couple, where as individuals, they're powerful, and even together, they're even more powerful. And their love inspires others. Their love creates miracles. And it's the kind of relationship that people look up to and admire. And it's the kind of relationship where you grow together. It's the kind of relationship where you do the work. And now I'm starting to get into the pillars, but essentially the relationship continues to expand. It continues to inspire not only each other and yourself, but all those who you cross paths with. And it's funny too, because oftentimes if you're in a powerful relationship, you are going to get a lot of attention. And that's the other thing, that is to be able to hold that attention as a couple and still be so united and still be shining your light and be fully expressed. And so that brings us to the first pillar I think is super important, which is full expression, where you feel that you're able to be your true authentic self, where your silliness, your weirdness, like you're able to be who you truly are in front of your partner, and your partner is able to do the same. So there's this level of comfort, and also where the love you both have helps each other to shine brighter. And that alone, so I'm sure you have, and we all have, you've met someone and you maybe just feel like you can't be your true self. And if you do feel that way, it may not be the right partnership for you. But if you find that person that you can be 100% all the flavors and shades and colors of yourself, and you feel safe enough to fully express, and even in the relationship, you feel like you can really be your full self, then that's the right relationship for you. And so I remember even when I had met my beloved, I remember saying to him, I'm an alien from another planet, and I've incarnated into this lifetime. I'm here for the healing and awakening of humankind, for the co-creation of the new earth. And he was just like, I just love the stars. I've been looking at them since I'm a kid. I always wanted to be abducted and, by aliens. And so it was like this beautiful moment where it was almost like, I feel like he felt like he found me. Like, I've been looking for you my whole life, and that's beautiful. And I remember thinking like, why did I just tell him that, But it really set the foundation that showed me like I could really be my true self. And then the funny part is then he would go around telling people, yeah, I met this girl and she thinks she's, not that she thinks that she says she's an alien from another planet. So he felt comfortable within our relationship enough to start going and telling other people,
All right. And the next pillar I feel that's super important for a powerful relationship is willingness. Whenever I've had clients tell me like, oh yeah, like I'm in this relationship, he doesn't know if he wants to be with me, or she's kind of giving me mixed signals. And there's this, it's not clear that both people really want to be with each other. And the signs and the actions are not really showing that full commitment. When you have a partner that is one, or a person that is one, willing and wanting to go the distance with you, will and wants to do whatever it takes, will and wants to show up in their best way, in their best light, will and wants to evolve and transcend and let go of the shadows and the behaviors and the ego that's not serving the relationship, will and wants to show up in their highest light, to serve the relationship, to serve you both as a couple. This is a person to go into partnership, and this is a person that you want to be in partnership, especially if you feel the same way. Because I have experienced personally, and I have had clients and couples as clients that have gone through rocky, hard times where one or both people in the relationship had certain ways of being that were challenging the relationship, certain habits. And when there was a willingness to let those things go, the relationship went to the next level. And I've seen it time and time again. And it's a beautiful thing when people are willing to do whatever it takes. That is a beautiful trait. And I think actually the most important pillar, because without that willingness for you two to come together, without that willingness to walk through the hard times and find a solution out, this is what I feel like is next level. And I can give you one example in my relationship personally where I don't drink alcohol or do any kinds of substances. And I wouldn't even date people who did. I just thought like, okay, there's an energetic match to me. There's someone already out there who doesn't drink at all. And so when I met my beloved, it was casually at a dinner and he was drinking, had like a cocktail, like other people did too at the table. It's not like abnormal. But and at that point in my life, I just feel like I was just like kind of passing people by who were, and we just got into a conversation, and then we started to share about like his fitness and his work and how he didn't really drink for a long time, and a lot of times he would be the designated driver, and there were times with his fitness he like wouldn't even have any alcohol, and like even on his 18th birthday he didn't, which in the UK you can. And so I felt like, oh, like his true nature is not really to drink. But when you find yourself in certain environments like Ibiza, like that's a place people go and they drink. And so there was an aspect of me that like softened and had a willingness to see, oh, what could this be? And he had a willingness to fully let the alcohol go. So for months, like neither of us, I know it kind of went away quick. It was like within the first month, 3 months of our relationship, that was cleared out of our fields. And it was beautiful because that's what I needed to feel safe and good, because I'm so energetically sensitive in our relationship. And for him, he loves it. And, he got back into his fitness really hard. I became one of his personal training clients. And then I started going to the gym too. So it was something that served both of us. And there was that willingness of like, what does my partner need? And I'm willing to show up and do that. And it's really beautiful to see that. So the next pillar, and there are no particular order, the pillars, is, what do I want to say now? Let's say transparency next. I feel that transparency is super important in powerful relationships, which means you tell each other everything. Everything is open. Like your phones are open. You could easily, happily share your passwords with each other. There's this full trust that gets developed with transparency, and that when you share with the truthfulness and the honesty, and there's just that full transparency, and you just like volunteer information, like so-and-so messaged me today. It's like you really get to know each other's lives ins and outs. You know the details of the happenings in their life, and they know about the details in your life, and you really become a unit, because then you can mastermind for each other, and you can get ideas of like, oh yeah, that thing happened, maybe you should try this, or oh yeah, I know someone who can help you with that, etc. So this transparency in all the ways in relationship, I think, is so important. And that goes for like, oh yeah, someone messaged me on Instagram, or this happened, or whatever, like full transparency. And this creates the greatest trust, because I feel that everything always comes out in the end, and things are always coming up to the surface. So if you just like share with your partner from the beginning, then it just creates this really safe space for you both to feel trust and to feel trusted as well. And then next we get into loyalty. So loyalty, I like to define as sexual mastery, where you're not spilling out your sexual energy and leaking it out to other people. So other people might think you're available. And that could be with your eyes, where your eyes go and how much you look at other people. And we like to call this having eyes only for each other, and really just directing your sexual energy towards each other. So that means, like, even if you were to say hi or bye to other people, there's no like leaky boundaries. There's no ulterior motives. You're definitely not thinking of other people at any time when there's anything going on that's remotely sexual or sensual. And I even recommend for couples, and I really recommend for everyone, not to watch pornography and even not to masturbate, to really give your full sexual energy to your partner and to really create this beautiful divine union through that. Because then your sexual energy is directed at them. There's a focus on your partner, and this creates a stronger bond. And that's an aspect of loyalty. I also feel loyalty means putting your partner first when there's things that happen in the world and in life. And, your partner is your primary person. So they come first, and let's say, even if you're thinking, oh yeah, but my family comes first. But let's say if you're thinking of your mom and dad, I actually really feel like your partner comes before your mom and dad, because your parents have their partnership and you're building your family now. So really the loyalty goes to the family you're creating, and you're grateful for your family that brought you into the world. But now your priority and your loyalty goes to the family that you're creating. And so a lot of times when people go and complain to their parents and complain to their friends or whatever, it's not really loyal to your partner to do that. And so as much as you can resolve within each other is so potent and powerful. And the less you share and the more, of course, share beautiful things. But if you're going through challenges, like, not everyone is living your relationship. Not everyone knows the in and outs. And a lot of times people, as I mentioned in other episodes or a future one, I don't know the order that we're doing these in, but I really recommend that you share the good things. But people are not there 24/7 in your relationship. So any advice that someone gives you is not with all the full information. And there's always two sides to a story plus the truth, because we're also seeing what happens through our own lens and through our own triggers and our own projections and our own traumas, but also through our own beautiful rose-colored lenses. So we're all having a different experience of reality. So I find, as much as you can, to really be a unit and work things out within your relationship and put your partner first. And of course, with permission, you can share certain things with other people, but really with that permission in your partnership. And what I find is great, what I've done even in my partnership is, like, if I want to talk about something with someone else, I have my partner there too. We all talk about it. So all sides are represented. So the next pillar, I wrote some so I wouldn't forget. Oh yes, of course. So important is personal development. And I like personal development both as an individual and personal development as a couple. So if you are someone who has done a lot of personal development on your own before meeting your partner, and you've done tons and tons of stuff on your own, then for you, I would recommend to do personal relationship in partnership. So what that looks like is you guys can go to a breathwork class together. You can work with a couples coach together. You can go and try some workshop together. You can have dedicated nights to Tantra. You can literally anything. You can both read a book or take a course on compassionate communication. Anything you do that could better yourself, you do with your partner, or go to ecstatic dance together, or anything, go do a meditation together, sit down and do a meditation together, do a ritual together, just do the work together, basically. If you're someone that has really never done personal development and then you go into a relationship, then I highly recommend you do individual personal development. And of course, both are great. But if you find a lot of your time you're spending on your own personal development, then you're going to want to open up that stage with your partner. And if you find you haven't done any, then get started. Because as you evolve and shift and become the best you your relationship gets even better. And the crazy thing is you can evolve and transform and heal, and your relationship can change drastically without your partner even doing anything. Because everything is a mirror and everything we are polarizing in every moment. So the way you meet every moment changes based on how you're meeting the moment. So if you're coming from a place of joy, you're going to meet a moment so differently compared to if you're showing up in anger. So the more you work on you, the more you're in love, the more you're in joy, the more you're in peace, harmony, all the good things. And then you bring that to your relationship. So with personal development, this is really about showing up as the best you every day and committing to be better and better every day. And part of that means when your relationship brings you a trigger or a mirror of like, hey, there's something, your shadow's coming up, your ego's coming up. And instead of just like brushing it off and making it like it's not my fault, everything is a co-creation. So you're willing to take responsibility for your part. And you're willing to evolve the parts of you that contribute to any kind of dynamic that was anything other than love and harmony and bliss and joy and happiness and peace. And the more that's done and the more you both do that, your relationship rises to higher and higher heights. And I really feel this is a pillar of powerful couples because that means the relationship continues to grow and expand and become even more powerful through the personal development. Oftentimes where couples stray and go apart from each other and don't grow together is when both people are not committed to that personal development. But if you're seeing your relationship as a spiritual partnership, as you should, then it's only going to serve you. And if you're both committed and willing to do the work, and commitment is part of willingness. And if you're committed and willing to do the work, then that's so beautiful. So the next pillar I want to share about is uplifting your partner. Your partner cannot hear enough from you how wonderful they are, how beautiful they are, how handsome they are, how gorgeous they are, how talented they are, how skillful they are, how they do that thing so wonderfully, how they made that thing so wonderfully and it tasted so good. Any way that you genuinely feel, of course, this has to be genuine. You don't just like make things up or like, what do you call that? Like love bomb someone. You genuinely feel it from your heart. So if like, you are in the room and your partner gets undressed and you're like, and you feel turned on, you share with your face, with your words, with sounds like, right? Like you make your partner feel so good. You let them know how much you admire them, you adore them, and they'll feel that. And this is so beautiful for the relationship because everyone wants to be seen and loved and adored. So how can you adore your partner even more? And how can you compliment the things they do? And gratitude is a part of this. So sharing your gratitude with your partner of what you're grateful for, but also what you love and what you adore. And you can use these words like, I love this about you so much, or I adore this, or, and whatever other compliments, just give. And don't, and I've always said this, give in a devotional way. So not where you're expecting to get something in return, but just because you love the person and you're happy to be with them and you see them and you got with them for a reason. So it doesn't mean like, oh, now we're together, that's it, I get to take you for granted. In powerful relationships, you're putting each other on a pedestal. You're lifting each other up. You're saying how beautiful, how gorgeous, how handsome you are because you mean it and you feel that. And so you want to be your number one fan to your partner. And that is going to create such a powerful relationship. Next is compassion. So having compassion for our partner is so important. And all of these things are a balance, right? And of course, if your partner does something that's not acceptable for you, then you clearly process it, etc. And at the same time, when things happen that may not go perfectly according to plan or the way you want it to go, that you also hold space for compassion. Compassion that like no one is perfect, that humans are humans, they make mistake, and also see if you could find the innocence in the person, in the action based on whatever happened. And the most important thing is talking about things, processing things, being willing to listen and understand. And you can feel when your partner's being genuine or apologetic or if they really did make a mistake, or if it was intentional, etc. And so really being compassionate when things happen, because oftentimes people make mistakes in relationships or they do something to hurt their partner, oftentimes when they're hurting, when they're angry. And anger generally covers up hurt. So underneath anger is oftentimes hurt. So if you could somehow get through that protective layer of the anger, you can find the compassion for the part of them that's hurt, the part of them that maybe this is triggering a trauma from the past. Maybe there's more to the story. And so really inviting a space to listen, a space to understand, and a space to be compassionate. Put yourself in their shoes and see if you can hold that space. I've known, not that I condone anything, but I have known couples who have dealt with really challenging things, and they get through the other side because there was compassion. And I know even for myself in my relationship, there were moments, my partner and vice versa, I did things that he didn't like, he did things that I didn't like. And what brought us back together was finding the compassion, because the willingness was there. And this is the last one that I'm going to share with you, it's like the humility to admit when you're wrong, the humility to apologize when you've done something wrong, the humility to take responsibility for something, like all of these things, that self-responsibility and the humility to express it is so powerful and so potent. And the humility to say, like, I was wrong, this is how I'm going to do it better next time. That's going to win every time. When your ego and your defensiveness and your righteousness and wanting to be right comes in, like, that does not help the relationship go the distance. And that doesn't gain you respect from your partner per se. So really finding that space to open your heart, to soften, to come into a beautiful relationship with your partner in a way that's compassionate and willing and loyal and transparent and honest, where you uplift each other, you're truthful, and all of these things together make for the most powerful, beautiful, potent relationship. And so with that, I send you so much love to you and your partner. If you ever want to go deeper in relationship work, I have my Ultimate Relationships course I really recommend. And you can also tune into the bonus content for this episode as well, where we are going to do a form of a love and kindness / gratitude / admiration, adoration. It's like showering the most beautiful, energetic, light and energy on yourself and your partner. So this is more of an energetic healing and an activation that includes some light language. And oftentimes it's important for us to have these things towards ourselves: the compassion, the adoration, the admiration, the loyalty, the trust, the transparent, all these things we do with ourselves first. So it's going to be a healing for yourself. And then if you're in relationship, you can receive that for your partner and give it to your partner as well. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you inside the bonus content, and I'll see you for the next episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Dr. Nikki Starr Show. Please like this podcast and share it with anyone you feel would benefit. Subscribe to the podcast to receive bonus content, and remember, every Monday the video version goes live on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being on the ascension path with me and for doing this great work.